Captain Daniel Moore stood on the bridge of the USS Dauntless. His heart beat fast, but his face stayed calm. On the big screen in front of him, an alien ship floated in space. It was huge, bigger than any ship humans had ever built. The alien ship had appeared near Jupiter just 3 days ago. No one on Earth had expected visitors from space. "Captain, they're calling us again," said Officer Ben Ryan at the communications station. Moore nodded. "Put them on screen." A strange face appeared. The alien had blue skin and 4 eyes that blinked in an odd pattern. "Captain Moore, we extend our invitation once more. Our High Council wishes to meet with Earth representatives." "Tell them we accept," Moore said. But after the call ended, he contacted Earth right away. Admiral Catherine Wells appeared on his screen. She was the head of Earth's Space Defense Force and Moore's boss. Her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her eyes looked tired from 3 days of emergency meetings. "They want us to come aboard their ship," Moore told her. The Admiral frowned. "I don't like it, but we can't say no to our first alien contact." She leaned closer to the screen. "Take a security team with you. Keep your communication line open at all times, and Daniel, remember you represent all of humanity now." 6 hours later, Moore led a small team across to the alien ship. With him were Security Chief John Powell, Science Officer Maria Diaz, and Diplomatic Officer Lisa Reyes. They wore their best blue uniforms with the Earth emblem on the shoulder. The shuttle trip to the alien ship took 20 minutes. As they got closer, Moore could see that the alien vessel wasn't just big. It was enormous. Their shuttle looked like a fly next to a whale. "Stay sharp, everyone," Powell said quietly, checking his sidearm one last time before they docked. When the airlock opened, Moore took a deep breath and stepped forward into history. The room they entered was large and round. The lighting was soft purple and the air smelled like cinnamon and metal. 7 different alien species stood in a half circle, waiting for them. Some had too many arms, some had scales. One looked like it was made of crystal. Moore felt a chill run down his spine, but he kept his face friendly. An alien with gray skin and a tall, thin body stepped forward. "I am High Counselor Zexa Talon of the Veridon," it said through a small device that hung around its neck. "We welcome humans to the greater community of space-traveling beings." Moore bowed slightly. "Thank you for this honor. I am Captain Daniel Moore of Earth. We have watched your planet for many years," Zexa Talon continued. "We monitored your radio signals, your television broadcasts, your internet. Now that you have ships that can travel to other planets in your system, it is time for formal contact." Lisa Reyes stepped forward. She was the best diplomat on the Dauntless. "We are honored to meet you and learn about the galaxy beyond our system." The aliens led them to a large meeting room with a circular table. For 2 hours they explained about the Galactic Council, a group of over 30 different alien species that work together to keep peace in the galaxy. They talked about their history, their laws, and their amazing technology that let ships travel faster than light. Moore listened carefully and asked good questions. But when they started talking about weapons and defense, the mood in the room changed. A reptile-like alien with red scales and sharp teeth made a sound like a laugh. "Your nuclear bombs and bullet-firing weapons are cute," it said. "Most species stop using such simple tools within their first 100 years of space travel." This alien wore a uniform with many badges. The translator said his name was Rule Deck, the military liaison. Moore felt his face get hot, but he kept his voice calm. "We're still learning and growing. Maybe we could learn from your defense systems." The aliens looked at each other. Moore didn't need a translator to understand their expressions. They were amused, maybe even feeling sorry for the humans. "In time," Zexa Talon said, raising one long finger. "First, we need to see if your civilization is mature enough. The Council does not give advanced weapons to new members until they have shown they can be responsible." After the meeting, 4 aliens with green skin led the humans back toward their shuttle. As they walked down a long hallway, Lisa moved close to Moore. "They're treating us like children," she whispered. Moore nodded slightly. "Maybe," he said in a low voice. "But I've seen this before. They think we're simple because our technology isn't as fancy as theirs. They're underestimating us." He smiled a little. "And that might be the biggest advantage we have." Back on the Dauntless, Moore called his team together. "What did you all think?" he asked. "They're hiding something," Powell said immediately. "Did you notice how they changed the subject when I asked about their weapons?" Maria Diaz nodded. "And they were very careful not to let us see much of their ship. Just that meeting room and the main hallway." "I noticed something else," Lisa added. "They talked about peace, but that military liaison had a lot of power in the room." He kept interrupting Zex's Talon. Moore looked out the window at the massive alien ship. "We need to be careful. They say they come in peace, but they're judging us, testing us." He turned back to his team. "And I think the real test is just beginning." On the main alien ship, Talon and Rule Deck watched the human shuttle return to the Dauntless. "What do you think of them?" Talon asked. The reptilian alien made a dismissive gesture. "No different from the others we've found. Primitive, curious, and too confident. You saw their weapon systems?" "Yes." Ruledeck laughed, showing sharp teeth. "They're still using metal projectiles and chemical explosives, not even basic energy weapons." Talon wasn't smiling. "Remember the Krell? They seemed primitive too." "The Krell were different," Ruledeck said. "These humans will be easy to control." He turned and walked away. Talon stayed by the window, watching the small human ship. "We'll see," he said quietly. "We'll see." 6 months passed since the aliens first came to Earth. Now, a large dome-shaped building stood in Geneva, Switzerland. This was the Galactic Council embassy on Earth. Aliens of many kinds walked in and out every day. They called their work cultural integration, but many humans felt like they were being studied like animals in a zoo. Dr. Alan Garcia worked with the aliens every day. He led the team of human scientists who talked with the Council's science experts. Alan was smart and friendly, but he was also very careful. He wrote down everything he learned from the aliens and reported it to Earth's leaders. One cold morning, Alan met with General Patricia Summers in an underground room 20 floors below the Pentagon. The room was secure. No one could listen to their talk. "They won't tell us anything important," Alan said, dropping a thick folder on the table. "Every time I ask about their weapons or how their shields work, they change the subject." General Summers was a tall woman with dark skin and serious eyes. She picked up the folder. "What have you learned so far?" "They don't use bullets or missiles, like we do," Alan explained. "They use energy weapons, beams of plasma or particles that burn through things. When I showed them our newest railgun, they laughed. The general's face got hard. People who laugh at others often stop paying attention. That can be useful for us. Keep working with them, Alan. Learn everything you can." Up in space, another important meeting was happening. Earth and the Council were building a special communication station in orbit. This station would let Earth talk to other star systems instantly without waiting years for messages to travel. Chief Engineer Samantha Kelly floated in zero gravity, helping connect large metal panels. Next to her worked Trelkon, an alien from a race called the Zarvan. Trelkon had blue skin, 4 arms, and 4 large eyes that could look in different directions at once. "Break time," called the work supervisor. Samantha and Trelkon pushed themselves toward the rest area, where they could grab handles and stay in one place while they drank water. "I have a question," Samantha said to Trelkon. She had spent weeks becoming friends with this alien. "What happens if your ships get damaged far from home? Do you have good defense systems?" Trelkon's 4 eyes blinked in a pattern that meant confusion. "Defense is not often needed. The Council has kept peace for thousands of years." "But space is dangerous," Samantha said. "What about asteroids or solar flares, or maybe pirates?" "Our shield technology keeps us safe," Trelkon explained. "Physical objects cannot harm us. Energy attacks are absorbed or bounced away. No one has attacked a Council ship in hundreds of years." Samantha nodded and changed the subject, but her mind was racing. That night she sent a secret message to General Summers. "Their shields are made to stop energy weapons and radiation. I don't think they've had to stop fast-moving solid objects like bullets or missiles for many generations. The general read this message twice. Then she wrote in her private notebook, "An untested defense is not really a defense at all." More months went by. On the surface, humans and aliens seemed to get along well. The aliens shared some technology, better medicines, cleaner energy sources, and better farming methods. But they kept the most important things secret. "We cannot give you faster-than-light travel yet," High Counselor Zexatalin told Earth's leaders at a big meeting. "Your civilization must reach certain development stages first." Earth was allowed to send people to council meetings, but they could only watch. They could not vote or help make decisions. Many humans started to feel angry about this treatment. "They're treating us like children who can't be trusted," President Ryan Williams said in a private meeting with his advisors. "But they're using our resources and setting up bases in our solar system." General Summers was at this meeting. "We should be careful," she warned. "They're much stronger than us." "For now," the president said. "But we're learning fast." In secret labs around the world, human scientists studied everything they could learn about alien technology. They paid special attention to the aliens' shields and weapons. At the military base in Nevada, a team tested new weapons that might work against alien shields. They fired high-speed metal projectiles at materials similar to alien hull metals. "The math is on our side," said Dr. Olivia Crawford, the lead scientist. "If their shields are designed for energy weapons, they might not stop physical objects, moving at extremely high speeds." General Summers watched the tests through special glasses. "How soon until we have a working prototype?" 6 months, Dr. Crawford said. "Maybe less." "Good," the general replied. "I hope we never need it, but I want it ready." Meanwhile, on the Council's main ship in orbit around Earth, Zexatalin met with military liaison Ruledeck. "The humans are advancing quickly," Zexatalin said. "Faster than we expected." Ruledeck made a sound like rocks grinding together. His species' way of showing annoyance. "They're still far behind us, and they're too independent. They question everything we tell them." "Is that bad?" asked Zexatalin. "It makes them hard to control," Ruledeck said. "Most new species are grateful for our help. These humans are different. Should we slow their progress?" Ruledeck nodded. "Yes, and I think I know where to start." He showed a star map to Zexatalin. "The humans have built a small colony here at Proxima Centauri. They don't know that system is listed in our records as protected." Zexatalin looked troubled. "Are you suggesting we use this to teach them a lesson?" "It's a perfect opportunity," Ruledeck said. "We'll show them who really makes the rules in this galaxy." Little did the aliens know. A small human listening device, hidden in the ship's meeting room, caught every word they said. The information was already on its way to General Summers' office on Earth. The colony on Proxima Centauri b was Earth's greatest achievement. It was the first human settlement around another star, 4.2 light-years from Earth. More than 3,000 people lived there now. They had built homes, farms, schools, and research stations on this new world. The planet was not perfect. It was colder than Earth and the days were longer. But the colonists had worked hard. They grew their own food in special greenhouses. They mined the mountains for metals. They were proud of what they had built. Then one day, everything changed. Governor Susan Rivera was working in her office when her assistant ran in without knocking. "Governor, a council ship just appeared in orbit." Susan looked up from her computer. "Just one?" 4 more just came out of faster-than-light travel. 5 ships total, all huge. Susan felt her stomach tighten. The colony had no defenses against 5 alien ships. "Call Earth right away," she ordered. "Use the quantum communicator." On Earth, President Eric Matthews sat in the big meeting room at the White House. Around him were his top advisors. On the screen in front of them was High Counselor Zexatalin. "Your colony must leave Proxima Centauri b," the alien said. "You have 6 months to evacuate everyone." The president tried to stay calm. "Why? Our people have lived there for 2 years now. We have 3,000 citizens there. The planet was marked as a nature preserve in our records 500 years ago," Zexatalin explained. It has special microbial life forms that must be protected. You never told us this when we sent our colony ships, said the president. Mistake in our records, Zexatalin said. We apologize for the confusion, but the law is clear. The colony must move. After the call ended, the president turned to his team. Options? Defense Secretary Laura Wilson looked grim. We can't fight them. Not yet. Our new weapons are still being tested. Can we negotiate? Asked Vice President Greg Howard. We'll try, the president said, but prepare the military. I don't like the timing of this. 3 days later, President Matthews went to the Council Embassy in Geneva. This time he brought a smaller team, just himself, an aide, and General Summers in plain clothes. They met in a private room with Zexatalin and Ruldek. We understand your position, the president said, but we need more time. Moving 3,000 people and all their equipment will take at least 2 years. 6 months is generous, Ruldek said. His reptile face showed no emotion. Other species have been given much less time in similar situations. We can offer help moving your people, Zexatalin added. We know a good planet in the Epsilon Eridani system that would work for humans. One that you choose? Under your direct supervision? Asked the president. For your own safety and development, yes, Zexatalin said. The meeting ended with no agreement. As the humans left, Ruldek turned to Zexatalin. They won't leave peacefully, the military liaison said. These humans are too stubborn. Then we must show them the consequences of disobedience, replied Zexatalin. Prepare a demonstration of our power. Nothing that will hurt people, just enough to show them they cannot win. 2 weeks later, the 5 council ships around Proxima Centauri moved into a new formation. They surrounded the human colony from orbit. On Earth, the Security Council gathered in a secret room deep under New York. They received a message from the aliens. To show our technological power and encourage you to follow our rules, we will temporarily turn off your colony's electricity. This is not an attack, just a demonstration. Minutes later, all communication with the colony stopped. The power grid on Proxima Centauri B went dark as the alien ship sent electromagnetic pulses down to the surface. In her underground office, General Summers watched hidden video feeds from the colony. The aliens didn't know about the special cameras and communication equipment hidden deep under the colony's main building. They turned off all the regular electronics, she reported to the president, who watched from Washington. Computers, phones, vehicles, all dead. But they didn't hurt any people. They're just showing off their power. Governor Susan Rivera helped organize the colonists. They had emergency supplies and backup systems that started working after a few hours. But everyone was scared. Would the aliens attack next? Would they have to leave their new home? Back on Earth, President Matthews sat in the Oval Office. His face looked tired but determined. They think they can push us around, he said to General Summers, who stood nearby. They think we'll obey if they frighten us. What are your orders, Mr. President? The general asked. The president was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked up. It's time. Authorize Operation Longsword. General Summers nodded. She had hoped. This day would never come, but she was ready. She picked up a special phone and spoke 5 words. Longsword is go launch Sentinel. Deep under the lunar surface, in a secret base built where no alien could see, Captain William Nash received the order. He and his crew had trained for this mission for 2 years. All hands to stations, Nash called over the ship's speaker system. Prepare for launch in 30 minutes. The USS Sentinel was not large or fancy like the Council ships. It was small, dark, and hard to see on radar or scanners. But it carried something special, a weapon the aliens had never faced before. Nash strapped into his captain's chair. He looked around at his crew. They were the best Earth had to offer. Pilots, engineers, weapons experts, all chosen for this important mission. You all know what's at stake, Nash said to them. The aliens think they can push us around because they have bigger ships and fancier technology. They think we're weak. He smiled, but his eyes were serious. Let's go show them what humans can do when we're pushed too far. The USS Sentinel left Earth in secret. Captain William Nash and his crew told everyone they were going to Saturn to study its rings. This was a lie to fool the aliens. Their real mission was to reach Proxima Centauri as fast as possible. The Sentinel was a special ship. It was built in hidden factories on the far side of the moon, where the aliens couldn't see. It had a new kind of engine that could travel almost as fast as the alien ships. And it carried a weapon that humans had been working on for months. "Engine status?" Nash asked as they moved away from Earth. "All good, Captain," replied Chief Engineer Paul Garcia. "Ready for the jump to light speed when we're past Mars orbit." Lieutenant Grace Harrison sat at the weapons station. She was the best shooter in the Earth fleet. "Weapons are ready, sir. The MAC is fully charged." MAC stood for Magnetic Accelerator. Cannon. It was a simple idea. It used powerful magnets to shoot solid metal objects at incredibly high speeds. The faster something moved, the more damage it could do when it hit a target. The MAC could fire small metal projectiles at nearly the speed of light. "Let's hope we don't need to use it," Nash said, but he knew better. The aliens had pushed humans too far. It was time to push back. Once they passed Mars, the Sentinel activated its experimental drive. The stars outside seemed to stretch into lines as the ship jumped to faster-than-light travel. The trip to Proxima Centauri would take just 3 days. During the journey, Nash spoke to his crew. "Remember, we're not going there to start a war. We're going to protect our people and show the Council that humans aren't weak. If we do this right, maybe they'll start treating us with respect." On the 3rd day, the Sentinel arrived at Proxima Centauri. They stayed far from the alien ships, using their stealth technology to avoid being seen. "Position us 500,000 kilometers from the main Council ship," ordered Captain Nash, "and prepare a demonstration shot." "Target locked," reported Lieutenant Harrison. "Using minimal power settings as ordered. The projectile will hit at just 1% of our maximum speed." Nash opened a communication channel. "Council vessels, this is Captain William Nash of Earth Defense Force. We see that you demonstrated your power against our colony. Now we'd like to offer a demonstration of our own." Without waiting for the aliens to respond, Nash gave the order. "Fire." The Sentinel shook slightly as the MAC fired a single projectile, just a small piece of metal no bigger than a bullet. But this bullet was traveling at incredible speed. The alien ships did nothing to avoid it. Their shields glowed slightly as the bullet approached. The aliens were not worried. Their shields had never failed before. But something unexpected happened. The bullet passed right through their shield and made a small but clear hole in the side of the main alien ship. The hole wasn't in a critical area, and no one was hurt. But it proved something important. The alien shields didn't stop fast-moving, solid objects. The alien communication channels exploded with confused messages. Their shields, which had protected them from all attacks for thousands of years, had just failed to stop a simple human bullet. "Attention, Council vessels," Nash transmitted. "That was our smallest weapon at its lowest power. We aimed at an empty part of your ship to avoid hurting anyone. But we have more powerful shots ready to fire at each of your 5 ships. You have 1 hour to leave Proxima Centauri space and let our colony continue its work in peace." On the main Council ship, alarms were sounding everywhere. Engineers rushed to check the damage. Security teams prepared for more attacks. In the control room, High Counselor Zex Talon and Military Liaison Rule Deck argued loudly. "How did they do this?" Zex Talon demanded. "You said their weapons were primitive." Rule Deck looked both angry and confused. "They are primitive, but somehow they found a way to use that primitive technology against our advanced shields." He looked at the damage report on his screen. "Our shields are designed to stop energy weapons and deflect radiation. We haven't faced physical projectiles in combat for thousands of years. Can we stop their weapons if they fire again?" Rule Deck hesitated. "Not with our current shield settings. We would need time to adjust them." "And if they use more power next time?" Zex Talon asked. The military leader was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "The damage would be severe." High Counselor Zex Talon made a decision. "Tell our ships to pull back to the edge of the system. We need time to think about this." On the Sentinel, Captain Nash watched as the 5 Council ships moved away from the colony. They didn't leave the star system completely, but they were no longer threatening the colony. "They're retreating," said First Officer Linda Chen. "Should we follow them?" "No," Nash replied. "Let them have some space to think, but keep our weapons ready." Down on the colony world, Governor Susan Rivera and the colonists cheered as their power came back on. The alien ships that had threatened them were moving away. "What happened?" Susan asked when she got a call from Captain Nash. "Let's just say they learned that humans aren't as weak as they thought," Nash told her. "But this isn't over yet. The Council is too proud to give up so easily." Nash was right. An hour later, the Sentinel received a message from the Council fleet. High Counselor Zexit Talon himself wanted to meet, not on any of their ships, but on a small space station that orbited between the opposing forces. "It's time to talk," Captain Nash told his crew. "But we negotiate from a position of strength now." As he prepared to leave for the meeting, Lieutenant Harrison stopped him. "Sir, be careful. They might be planning a trap." Nash nodded. "Keep the Mac aimed at their ships while I'm gone. If anything happens to me, you know what to do." The fate of Earth's relationship with the Galactic Council now depended on what happened next. But for the first time since aliens arrived in the solar system, humans were not begging for respect, they had earned it. The meeting place was a small space station halfway between the human and alien ships. Captain Nash arrived with Ambassador Frank Rivera, who had been sent from Earth to help with the talks. They wore their best uniforms with the Earth symbol on the chest. The aliens were already waiting inside. High Counselor Zex Talon didn't look as proud as before. Military Liaison Rule Deck stood beside him, his reptile eyes watching the humans carefully. "You shot through our shields," Zex Talon said as soon as they sat down. His voice sounded different now, less sure, more respectful. "No one has done that in over 2,000 years. We used simple technology, like you suggested we should," Ambassador Rivera said calmly. "We worked with what we had." Ruledeck leaned forward. "Your weapons are basic, but they work well against us because they are so basic. Our shields were made to stop energy weapons like lasers, not solid objects moving at such high speeds." "We did not come to fight," Captain Nash said. "We came for fair treatment." The talks went on for 6 hours. Both sides argued hard. The aliens wanted humans to share their new weapon technology. The humans wanted to keep their colony and get more respect from the Council. In the end, they made a deal. The Proxima colony would stay where it was, but humans would build special areas to protect the important microbes on the planet. More importantly, Earth would become a full member of the Galactic Council, the fastest any species had ever joined. No more being treated like children. As the meeting ended, Zexit Talon spoke quietly to Captain Nash. "You could have destroyed our ships," Nash nodded. "We could have, but that's not who we want to be. Yet you came ready for battle." "We came ready to be respected," Nash said. "Throughout human history, we've learned that sometimes you need to be strong to keep the peace." 3 months later, Earth's first official members took their seats in the Great Galactic Council chamber on the main council planet. The other alien species looked at the humans with new eyes, not as primitive newcomers, but as equals who had shown them something important that they had forgotten. In private rooms, the Council's military committee started studying human weapons. They realized they had ignored simple but effective technology for too long. Physical weapons, which they had thought were outdated, were now being studied again. Back on Earth, General Summers met with President Matthews in the White House garden. "The Council is treating us much better now," the President said. "All because of one small bullet." "Sometimes that's all it takes," General Summers replied. "They came thinking they would teach us. Instead, we taught them something." "What happens now?" asked the President. "Now we learn from each other," the General said. "They have amazing technology we can use, and they've learned not to underestimate us." She smiled. "I think this is the start of a much better relationship. All because they mocked our weapons," the President said, "until we fired the first shot." General Summers looked up at the stars that were just becoming visible in the evening sky. Somewhere up there, Council ships and human ships were now training together, sharing knowledge and technology. "The best friendships," she said, often start with a healthy dose of respect.